The incident, which occurred after BTS's promotional activities in Chiba, Japan, not only sparked global concern among fans, but has ignited a sharp debate in the South Korean entertainment industry. One of the biggest questions now resonates in various social media channels, industry forums to newsrooms. Did HYBE labels ignore very clear warnings about Jin's physical and mental condition, following reports that BTS's Jin appeared extremely exhausted after a series of official activities in Japan and was shortly thereafter suspended from all public activities? The public began digging deeper. Internal documents, rumors, and unofficial reports indicate that some of HYBE's staff and internal health professionals have been giving warnings since long ago. However, the warning does not seem to have been responded to as it should. Now, the public is questioning, is HYBE turning a blind eye to profit, or is something more complex being hidden? Ignored distress signals. Some sources say that since the beginning of this year, Jin has been showing signs of very serious fatigue. The signal did not come from one or two moments, but accumulated from a variety of busy schedules, intensive training, as well as preparation for solo comebacks and exhausting post-enlistment activities. One of the sources from the industry environment mentioned that the company doctor has given special notes on Jin's health status. But due to the enormous pressure of a prearranged promotional schedule, including a special appearance in Japan, the request for a long break did not seem to be granted. This information has not yet been officially verified by HYBE, but it is enough to ignite mass anxiety among ARMY and industry observers. If this report is true, then it is only natural that the public is now questioning the integrity of a company that has been considered to treat their artists with the utmost care. So, if a warning has been given, then who is really guilty? HYBE under pressure. HYBE labels faced pressure not only from the public, but also from internal circles. One of the former senior management staff reportedly made scathing comments in a closed-door forum, stating that the work culture at the company has changed drastically since BTS began entering the post-enlistment reactivation phase. He said there was tremendous pressure from shareholders to immediately maximize BTS comeback momentum in full. As a result, he said, strategic decisions often no longer fully consider the condition of individual artists. They're not just assets, they're people. But sometimes, in executive meetings, it's just numbers, the source said. Although HYBE has yet to give an official statement on why Jin was pulled from all activities after Chiba, local and international media have urged transparency. Not a few observers state that HYBE is currently at the lowest point of their reputation in terms of artist health management. ARMY on the move, solidarity and demands on the other hand, ARMY, BTS's global fanbase, is not standing still. The hashtag #RespectJin movement, no hashtag here, has been widespread on social media platforms as a form of protest against the company's decision to sacrifice Jin's health for the sake of promotional activities. Although this article does not contain the hashtag explicitly, it should be noted that the mass insistence on HYBE is very pronounced even without a formal movement. Open letters from various fanbase communities also began to appear, demanding the company to details Jin's health condition honestly, explain the basis for the decision on the termination of all its activities, provides clarification as to whether internal warnings are actually being ignored. Furthermore, some fans also asked HYBE to reevaluate the artist's management structure and open access to a more transparent two-way dialogue. We are not just content consumers. We care, and we want to know what's going on, wrote one fan from Manila in a viral open-ended post. Ethical questions. When business collides with humanity, this case raises a much broader issue than just one artist or one company. It's about how the entertainment industry, with all its capitalistic pressures, often puts performance above humanity. In fact, without maintained health, there will be no stage, there will be no performance, there will be no magic that a figure like BTS's Jin usually offers. If it's true that Genie has been signaling fatigue for a long time, and the company's medical team also agrees on that, but the warnings are endless in real action, then this could set a dangerous precedent for other artists in the same industry. The political choreography behind HYBE's silence. One of the things that made the public even more furious was the silence of the HYBE. There was no press conference, no apology, and no official clarification of Genie's condition or management's decision. Is this part of their crisis communication strategy? Or is it just a reflection that the company is in turmoil internally? Some communications analysts have suggested that HYBE is currently in a phase of narrative control, in which each statement will be calculated to the extreme before being released to the public. However, this overly cautious attitude actually worsens people's perception. When a much-loved person like Genie suddenly disappears from the public sphere, the public needs answers, not speculation. Unfinished conclusion in this case. There is no absolute certainty as to who should bear full responsibility. But one thing is clear. If it is true that internal warnings have been delivered and ignored, then HYBE must provide clarification, apologies, and a long-term plan to prevent similar incidents from happening. More than that, it is time for the Korean entertainment industry, including giant agencies like HYBE, to reevaluate their work structure. A company as big as HYBE shouldn't let a business machine run on the back of an artist who's been giving his all for over a decade. Because in the end, what the public sees is not only the final result on stage, but how each step towards that stage is taken with responsibility and empathy. In a world of information increasingly fragmented and controlled by the speed of clicks, we as a society must ask aloud. Does the information we receive really reflect reality, or is it just an illusion formed by a deliberately constructed narrative? The cases of BTS's Jin and HYBE are the most relevant examples in today's media landscape. When the news of Jin's sudden cessation of activity was widely circulated after performing Exhausted in HYBE, a deeper question arose. Was this purely a decision based on health factors, or part of a more complex communication strategy? From the point of view of the public, everything looked very emotional and dramatic. Fatigue, withdrawal from activities, the emergence of rumors that warnings from internal staff have been ignored, and HYBE, who has remained silent. All these elements make up a very evocative narrative. But let's pause and ask, what concrete evidence have we seen? Where does the original source of this information come from? Most of the information circulating so far comes from social media accounts such as TikTok, YouTube, and X, Twitter. Compilation videos, human voice narration claiming to be an insider, or even fan cam footage highlighting Jin's expression as he walks listlessly are all used to support the narrative that HYBE has been negligent. But is there an official medical release? Has HYBE or Jin's own representative ever submitted a written or video statement to confirm the allegations? To date, the answer is not yet. When emotions beat verification, social media, as we know, is a double-edged sword. It can speed up the spread of the truth, but it can also elevate a lie to fact in a matter of hours. In this case, the emergence of pieces of information, videos of Jin holding his stomach, his facial expression that seemed to withstand pain, or his steps that seemed unstable, immediately became evidence that Jin was in a critical condition. However, is it true that we can conclude a person's medical condition based only on a few seconds of video footage? More than that, what if that piece of video had gone through a very subjective selection process, taking only those parts that support a particular narrative and ignoring the overall context? This is what we should watch out for. Have we all fallen victim to narratives curated for the sake of sensation? Commercialization of empathy. There's another dimension to ponder. Has the media industry, including independent content creators, exploited fan empathy for personal gain or for traffic? When news of the Too Tired Genie went viral, not a few YouTube and TikTok channels suddenly uploaded similar content, with an evocative narrative style, complete with melancholy music and dramatic effects. The question is it a form of caring or just a strategy to attract an audience? We have to be honest. Behind the emotionally arousing content, an algorithm hungry for engagement is hidden. The more people who feel touched, angry, or curious, the more likely it is that the content will go viral. And in this process, facts are often sacrificed in favor of clicks. Who benefits?